I'm sorry, it is 5 a.m. and I'm trying to film this video for y'all. Deep down in my body, I was just so uncomfortable. And also, I felt like I just was not supposed to be a big girl. And that's okay, that I wanted to change that. And I don't have to be, the overweight child anymore. And sometimes I really just want to reach back and really just hug that, inner child, that inner teenager, that inner young adult, because she missed out on so much life and was literally terrorized for her weight. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sierra, and here on my channel we are all about creating a life you love. So with that being said, we're going to hop into today's video. So today's video, we're going to be talking about the mental shift that actually happens when you lose weight. And if you're a person who's been overweight for a very long time, I am a person who wore this bigger girl identity for decades, honestly. And it came to letting go of that identity, it was honestly almost more transformative than actually losing the weight. I even kind of look back at old content I have, like TikTok videos and YouTubes, and I'm just like, who is that girl? So there is a lot of work that actually still has to happen after the weight loss that I don't think people really talk about. And I haven't seen this part online. It's usually like when people like lose weight, they kind of just pop up with their before and after pictures and they're like, I did this, I did that, or they're just have a newfound confidence and things like that. But I just feel like it's been a big mental shift for me that I've been having to consciously make. So today we're going to be talking, through, building confidence after that. So let's go ahead and get into the first point. Okay, so before we get too deep into the video, I want to remind you guys that we are having a giveaway at the end of our Slay with Sierra series. So be sure that you are subscribed and make sure you're commenting on every video within the series. So pretty much, just to set the stage for you, I'm a person who grew up overweight pretty much my whole life. Like I've literally been bigger longer than I've been the current size that I am today. And just kind of for reference, my highest weight that I've ever seen was 210 pounds. And right now I weigh 133 pounds. So that is a big difference and jump just in life in general. So it's been a lot of adjusting, but living with this bigger girl identity, it really shaped my confidence. I had to figure out myself in relationships. I had to figure out how to really navigate like school situations and social situations. I can even think back to college, like before college, I was like 160. And then honestly, once I got to college, I like shot up to 200 pounds. So like I didn't gain like the freshman 15. I gained like freshman 40, freshman 50. And it was just like, I seen all of these like skinny, like pretty girls wearing heels, going out to the clubs and stuff, going to parties. And it was like, here I am at Forever 21, can't fit a dang thing. And I'm crying in the fitting room. I'm crying like, because I don't want to hang out. And my friends are like, bro, you're being weird. Like we're going out. And it's just like, I was kind of not having a fun college experience because like, the confidence wasn't there. Me not feeling comfortable, my body wasn't there. So this is, I think, a season where I really started to isolate. I would say that my roommates throughout college were also kind of very introvertish, so they didn't go out either. So I'm like, okay, I found my people. So I would kind of just stay in a lot in college, which really is not good because, like I said, I avoided all of these social interactions and social situations because I was not comfortable in my skin. And that is no way to live life, because guess what? There's life after college and you're still gonna have to like go through all of these social interactions anyways. So you might as well like start early. And I think that is the biggest thing about college. Like I'm sorry, it is 5 a.m. and I'm trying to film this video for y'all. But that is something that I think college is very good for, and it is for helping you like transition into that adult life. As adults, you network and you interact with people on the daily. You're going to be doing stuff, going places, and college is like that first introduction to doing those things without being like under strict rules of your parents and things like that. And I kind of just became a hermit in college, which I was not in high school. I feel like I was a lot more outgoing in high school versus when I got to college. And another thing is like my high school was so small, but so I went from like a class, like my graduating class was only like 75 people or something, and then going to college and I'm in a lecture hall of 600 people. And then on top of that, I go to a PWI. So it was like only black girl in class, and the black community was like everybody was all together, but then it's also like everybody was from the same city. So it's kind of like these are people like you went to high school, middle school with. So it was just different, I would say. But even like that, so like I said, I had these weird like social interactions in college, which I don't think that I built up the confidence to like do that in the real world outside of that. And just to kind of move past that, I think like from today's point, I really realized like I had this thing called like weight blindness. 5 a.m. So I had this thing called weight blindness, and it's like when you don't really see yourself for who you are, I guess, like in the mirror. So it was like I knew I was big, but like looking back on that videos, pictures, and things like that, I'm like, who is that girl? Like I literally do not recognize her, and I did not realize that I look like that. It was just kind of weird because I feel like I spent a good portion of my life in a size as a teenager, 11, size 11, size 13, and then it was also like as an adult, I think the biggest size I ever got to was a 12, and I don't think that that's really considered like plus size. So I kind of feel like I always fell in like this mid-size category. And like when I would look at other people, because a lot of people around me, like some people around me were the same size or one size smaller, and it was just like I thought I looked more like them. But then now when I go back and look at the photos, my size 11 looked totally different than somebody else's size 11. Like I would be wearing 11 medium t-shirts, but like I just looked at this one picture and I thought I was like so slim this day, and I don't know why, but literally busting out the seams of my medium shirt. And it's just kind of like a wake up call, like for real, to realize like it's still kind of just weird to look back and see that. But I think my experience of being overweight is like I am constantly aware of my body, and I like I said, I started to really hide myself. So now that I am not carrying all of this weight, it's kind of different because now I have to shop for all new things. When I go places where I know people, I get like different reactions. Like they be acting crazy at work. They be like, girl, what are you doing? It's just like, it's a new found attention, I would say. And I just don't think I was ready or equipped to know how to deal with that. So it's been somewhat of a struggle, like finding my new style, finding my new groove, and really just being aware with how I look. Because a lot of times I look in the mirror and I really didn't even realize how small I was. I filmed a Get Ready With Me for bar class, and I was just looking at my body and I'm like, wow, I'm very small. Like I am skinny. And literally the only problem area I have on my body is like still my arms. And the thing is like my arms have gotten so much smaller from what they were. But what I also realized is I have a lot of loose skin on my arms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to work on them. But towards the end of December or January, I'm really going to look into some sort of like cosmetic surgery for them. Whether that be I start with some skin tightening procedures just to kind of see if I'm a good candidate, or I'm going to just go get an arm lift. And something I've always been insecure about is my arms. Like I feel like my arms started like before everything else. I remember being in 5th grade, having this small little patch of like stretch marks like right here. And that is where I began like hiding my arms and hiding my body. And it was just weird. Middle school was a very weird and uncomfortable place. Like I experienced like some very traumatic bullying during that time too. So it's just like the mental shift has been crazy. So just to kind of even go into breaking free from this diet culture that society has sucked us into is like growing up, there was a very toxic messaging around diet. There was always some sort of like fad diet or something going on. Like I literally grew up watching like Slim Fast commercials, Jenny Craig, Hydroxycut. People were doing Tybo, Billy Blanks, Jillian Michael. Like that culture was toxic, like for real, when you think about it. And it kind of still lives on today. Like people thought like don't eat carbs and you won't gain any weight. So like every time I did like have this goal of like losing weight, I would like cut carbs and I would see the scale go down. But in reality, you cannot cut carbs because your body needs carbs for energy. So it's like it doesn't make sense to do that kind of stuff because it's not sustainable. So from a very young age, we're taught that we have to diet, we have to stick to this strict like plan of just dieting, and you can't diet your whole life. When I tell you guys I've tried every single diet, I've tried the cabbage soup diet, the smoothie diet, I've even tried keto, and it's just like none of that stuff is sustainable, nor will it last you. And the moment I realized that, really learned to shift my mind from being like I want to be healthy and not I just hate my body, because at the end of the day, your body is keeping you alive. Your body does so much for you. And if you spend time like spewing negativity over it and hating it, it will deteriorate. Like for real. If you spend your whole life saying like, I'm fat, you're going to stay fat. So I just started saying like, I'm skinny. And one day I literally just woke up skinny and didn't even know. When I had to like break up with this diet culture, it's like, I didn't need any like extreme diet for real. Like all I needed was balance and consistency. This year, I really saw like a huge change in the weight. I started the year at 170 and now I'm at 133. And the year prior to that, I did it with the same little tactics. Did the cabbage soup diet, extreme working out. And during the holiday, I ended up going up to 170 because I had got down to 160 all by myself, like just doing all these extreme crazy things. But the thing is, like I said, that stuff is not sustainable. During that time, I ended up getting engaged. John moved here. And then it was like, once you're in a relationship, y'all go like eat more, do all this other stuff. So I gained 10 pounds like the moment he moved here. So then that started me this year at 170. What I actually did this year that was differently, it was like not necessarily like eating in moderation, because I really don't believe in the whole eating in moderation thing, because when people say eat in moderation, it kind of to me looks like people who say like, oh, I have Starbucks every day, I have McDonald's every day, but I just make it healthy. Like my body doesn't like all that junk food like all the time. So something that I actually did is like, I was a fairly healthy person. I just was overeating, y'all. And the thing is like, you can still overeat even if it's healthy food. So I had to really learn to cut and balance out my portions, because even like during this time, I did not deprive myself. Like I literally still was like having, drinks. If we went out to eat, I would still get my meal. The thing was, I just wasn't eating the whole meal. When you go out to eat, a lot of times those meals are like 4 to 6 servings. And it's just like, I would finish it. Like there was sometimes no to-go box when I went out to eat. And if there was a to-go box, by the time I was home, the food was in the refrigerator calling my name. And something that I actually started doing was just throwing out my leftovers, because I did not want to be tempted to eat the rest of the food because I did not need to eat it. So I mentioned how diet culture, so I mentioned how we kind of just grew grew up with this diet culture, and people don't realize like how damaging it is, because just because we grew up with that kind of stuff, like it's still very present today. People are still doing things that are extreme. They're doing 75 hard, they're doing extreme keto, carnivore diet, and it's just like a lot of that stuff. Yeah, you may see results, but it's not sustainable. So something that diet culture really puts people in the mindset of is it encourages people to have this all or nothing attitude. It's either you're on track or you're doing bad, and that takes an emotional toll on you. And the whole thing about just a weight loss journey or dieting is like when you do that in such an extreme way, it pretty much ignores your emotional and your mental aspects of making a sustainable change, which honestly damages you at the same time, because then you develop this all or nothing attitude, and it becomes a repeating cycle. It's like, oh, I'm up, I'm down, I'm on track, I'm not on track. I lost 10 pounds, I gained 20. I lost 10 pounds, I gained 15. And it's like you never can like lose the weight, because it gets to a point to where I was losing the same 20-30 pounds over and over and over again, and it got to the point to where I'm like, yeah, we need to see some real change. So like I said, I started the year at 170. My entire life of me trying to have this weight loss journey, I have only been able to get down to 153 and never been able to sustain it, because the way that I got to 153 was actually like I started like being a vegetarian. And when you become a vegetarian, you end up deleting a whole food group, which essentially probably will put you into a calorie deficit. I also was at the tail end of college, and which means I was very poor and I didn't have money to just be buying like excess junk food. So that really kind of like changed once I became an adult, started being in the working world, had a more sedentary life. I had a desk job. I worked in a call center, and it was like, you're sitting at a desk all day. All you're going to do is snack. Literally, that's all you're going to do. So it was like I went from one kind of like extreme of college of being uncomfortable in my skin. I was able to lose a little bit of weight by the end of college. And then by the time I got right back into the working world, I was back big again. And I also like battled really with I battled with a thyroid kind of problem. I had a nodule on my thyroid, and what people don't realize is like your thyroid controls your metabolism, your hormones, and things like that. So I also had got to a point where I'm like, I was having such a hard time losing weight, and I didn't understand, and it was because of the thyroid. So I ended up having thyroid surgery in 2021, and I still was unable to really successfully lose weight until this year. So like even after the surgery, my body still had to acclimate to only having half a thyroid. I'm not on any kind of medication for it. My body had to get back regulated like with hormones. So some things I did was I learned to listen to my body. I did cycle syncing and really creating a life of just like, I want a healthy lifestyle. Like that's what it is. So I really learned to fall in love with taking care of myself during this process. And I don't think people really talk about that. I think it's just more so from a place where people hate their body so much, or they just want to be a baddie and they just want a big butt. So I don't think people really talk about the whole mental aspect of it. So that's why I'm here talking about it with you guys, because I know I can't be the only person struggling with this piece of it. So let's talk about like really building confidence from scratch. Now that I am aware of like how my body looks, like really aware of like how much weight I've lost in like a physical way, because okay, you can see it on the scale. This year alone, I really only lost maybe I think 40, and then the year prior it was like 25 or something like that. So essentially I'm down 55, 60 pounds, because you know you fluctuate here and there. But seeing the number on the scale is actually very different than actually seeing, you know, the progress in real time. I think it's important that you take those before and after pictures so you can see how your body changes, because like when it comes to being overweight for so long, I really think I developed some sort of like body dysmorphia, because I did not see myself in the mirror the way that I see myself on camera, on pictures and things like that. So just do this favor to yourself. Take pictures. So after losing like all this weight, I don't think I really knew how to feel like good or bad, and really just letting go of like this bigger girl identity has been challenging for me. And yes, I know that I'm skinny. Yes, I know that I look good, but now it's to the point to where like my clothes are super baggy. Like I have to figure out what I like to wear and what I can wear, because a lot of times I feel like, as a bigger girl, you're stifled from wearing, certain things, because it's like, one, it looks crazy on you, or like it's just something you shouldn't do. And I know there is this body positivity movement and things like that, but I also think it's okay if you're not comfortable in your skin and you don't want to be positive about it and you just want to lose weight. And I'm not saying it's good to hate your body, but it's okay to be aware that it's time for change. I want to talk about why confidence isn't automatic, honestly, after weight loss. Some people it is. Like some people, I feel like those people already have like some sort of sense of confidence anyway. But like for me, I grew up in an environment to where like I was bullied so bad in school, but I wasn't really affirmed at home about my body, about health or anything like that, because honestly, my family talks so negative about their bodies too. And it's like, you don't realize the seeds that you're planting in the little ones when you say, oh, I'm fat, I need to lose weight, I'm always on a diet. I think diet and weight loss need to be like gently handled in front of young children growing up, because it can create a very vicious cycle. Like I'm in the 5th grade telling my friend like, oh, we need to go on a diet, or we need to be walking on the treadmill. Like me and my friend used to be on the treadmill on the phone running up and down the stairs. And like, mind you, this is early 2000s. Like she had one of those phones in their house where I think they had a phone in their kitchen with the cord. So it was like she'd put the phone down, run, and then we'd just literally be running and be like, 1, that's 2. And it's just like, that is so crazy to be doing as a child. Like, and honestly, it's kind of sad, but I mean, it is what it is. So something that I had to really work on consciously every single day is working on, my inner dialogue. And this is something that didn't change overnight. Like I said, I grew up in a family to where people talked about their bodies so bad. And the crazy thing is like a lot of my family, like they grew up on the smaller side. They grew up on the skinny side. So they gained weight as they got older. But I was like overweight as a young person. So I didn't even have the confidence of like, oh, I used to be this size. Like most people can always say like, oh yeah, I'm back to my high school size. And it's like, I'm in the best shape of my life. So it's like very different for me. And this just kind of gave me the space to really start to practice, this self-love. And self-love to me looks a little different. Like sometimes I'll really just start to record myself and really just admire my body, or do mirror time, just really look at myself, be happy, talk to myself, say, you look great, Sierra. Trying on different kind of clothes. Like I'm a person who wore baggy clothes literally my whole life. And now it's like the jeans that I wore this past weekend were a size 4. And that is wild to me. Wild. So just kind of like trying to play around with clothes, figure out my style. I've been doing like this dark hair lately, just trying to stay like more healthy, but I love blonde. So probably have to figure out like some sort of like way I can do like blonde extensions, because I really am like interested in making sure I have like good healthy hair. And even just aside from like all of the superficial things on the outside, the clothes, the body, like all of that stuff, I had to really learn how to practice gratitude during these times, like really learn to appreciate my body. Like I told you guys, I had to have thyroid surgery, and I don't know if I mentioned, but there was a high possibility that this could be cancer. So which is the reason that I got the surgery in the first place. Because if not, I would have probably tried to like heal it naturally, heal the nodules. Lots of people have nodules, but since there was a chance that it was cancer, I went ahead and got the surgery. But just after that, I really realized like God kept me. He kept me safe. He kept me healthy. And really just realizing like how hard your body works to keep you alive. So I just think I had a newfound appreciation for my body, and really learning to be grateful and appreciative that I'm up, I'm alive, I'm walking, my heart's pumping, my brain's working. And like some people don't wake up, in the morning. Some people don't have, legs or limbs to keep on going. Some people's mental is shot. Even though sometimes I feel like I battle with mental health issues, I'm still in a pretty good position versus, another person. So that is me learning to really appreciate my body and being grateful for it. Now I'm to the point to where like, okay, I know I'm smaller. I'm comfortable. I'm getting comfortable in my new skin, getting comfortable in my new body. I'm happy. It honestly just kind of makes me feel like less self-aware, or like I feel just like I can just be me, because like I said, a lot of times I was just literally hiding because of me being so uncomfortable in my skin. So now like I would never like put myself out there to go do different things. So like there's things that I would love to try, but I just would think like, girl, you too big to be doing that. So, and it may sound crazy, but like I recently been going to bar class, and when I think of like bar and Pilates, I will always think like, oh, these skinny, girls only do this. But like now, I actually feel comfortable in bar class. I feel like I know what I'm doing. Not only that, I did Pilates for like 9 months. So it's kind of similar, but I actually feel comfortable doing it. I don't feel like big. Like I can look in the mirror and see like I'm not big. I'm not the biggest person in the room. And that's just a new thing for me. And that's okay for me to be happy about that. Really just kind of redefining who I am. I am more than my weight, whether I'm, up or I'm down. And really just learning that it's really all about health. And that's one of the mental shifts that you have to make here. And honestly, it's just at a place to where I'm proud of myself. And I don't think I say that a lot. I don't think I say that out loud enough, but losing weight is a big accomplishment. Changing your body is a big accomplishment. Like that is something that should be celebrated. And it can be hard to celebrate without, some people around you want you to stay the same. So it's kind of like you have to learn how to just walk in who you are and be who you are, and don't care about what anybody else thinks. Like I said, I had to learn to ignore like people saying like, oh, don't lose any more weight. And it's like, that's because they are used to seeing you in a certain kind of way. But if you want to get to a place to where you're comfortable and you can show up in the world in your best self and putting your best self forward, and if you feel like you need to lose weight to do that, then do that. What people think about you does not matter at all, because at the end of the day, sometimes people say these things because they could never, get to the place that you're trying to get to, or they don't have the discipline to do that. And it's like I said, I've been overweight so long, like you should be happy for me in moments like this. So I just had to learn to be, happy for myself, because this is my life and this is my body. And I'm at the point to where, I feel comfortable, and that's all that matters. Lastly, let's kind of just go into, some of the mind shifts that I had to make throughout this process. I had to learn how to let my old self go, let the old stories of me go. I had to learn to stop having this attitude of like, I only can get to a certain point. Like for most of my life, I sat comfortably in my 160s, and I had to get that out of my brain. Like it's okay for me to be under 160 and stay under 160. So the moment I got under 160, it really kind of like lit a fire in me and really helped me build confidence in this area, because like I said, I always struggled to stay at that point. So it's like once I got under, the 160 mark, it builds a space of confidence. The more you do something, the more you see results, like that builds confidence in itself. So when I started to see that it was actually working and how I was moving about life was working, it built the confidence in that piece. And it's like, okay, I can get smaller than this. I can do this. Another thing I had to really think about is like, your past does not dictate your future. So just because you grew up overweight, and maybe you come from a family that's overweight, you don't have to be overweight in the future. You have the ability to change it. And like I said, just deep down in my body, I was just so uncomfortable. And also I felt like I just was not supposed to be a big girl. And that's okay, that I wanted to change that. And I don't have to be, the overweight child anymore. And sometimes I really just want to reach back and really just hug that, inner child, that inner teenager, that inner young adult, because she missed out on so much life and was literally terrorized for her weight. And that's insane to me. The psychological damage that I have undergone because of what people have said about me is kind of wild. And that's a whole another video in itself. But really just learning to let go of that. That does not dictate who I am today. I am a healthy, strong person today. I am skinny. I look good. Clothes look great on me. And that's who I am today. And who I was back then does not matter anymore. So let's kind of just talk about like something that you really have to value in this journey is progress over perfection, and realizing that sometimes slow weight loss is sustainable weight loss. When I tell you I probably only lost maybe 5 to 8 pounds each month, that may seem slow to some people because some people are out here losing 20 pounds a month, 30 pounds and 15 pounds. And it was just like the scale was not having these big dramatic jumps for me. And that's okay, because guess what? During this time, since it took me a little bit longer, like I was able to really build up the skills, really build up the habits to sustain this weight loss. And like I said, my highest weight was 210. So the year prior to that, I was able to, lose about 20, 30 pounds. And then this year I was able to lose about 40 pounds. So it's like, I didn't lose my 60 pounds like quick. And that is okay, because now I have built up a different kind of like lifestyle, different habits, different behaviors, and really just learning to know that my progress may have been slower than people's online. But guess what? That's okay, because I have built a sustainable life for me. Because like I said, I've done this a few times, and this is the only time that I've gotten to this place. Honestly, when it comes to like this progress over perfection, you have to learn how to really learn to celebrate your small wins. So like I said, I only was losing like 5 to 8 pounds a month. So every time I like got to like a big number, so like the 55 mark or the 0 mark. So like once I got to 155, I'm like, oh my God, yes. Once I got to 150, oh my God, yes. Like I was literally celebrating, and just celebrating, like, and being in a happy space. I didn't go out and give myself like a treat meal or a cheat day or something like that. Literally just learning to be happy and appreciative of my body making these changes, being proud that I'm becoming more strong, more lean, more slender, more healthy. Like that is a good place to be in. And it's okay for people to want to be fit, want to be skinny, want to be healthy, because I feel like there is such a big body positivity movement going on that people will shame you for wanting to change your body. People will shame you for wanting to be skinny. And I find that to be so freaking weird. Just because the word skinny triggers somebody else does not mean that you cannot want that for yourself, because fat triggers people who are overweight. And it's like, if they don't want to feel like that anymore, they do not have to. Okay, so kind of just like all in all, this video is about, weight loss essentially, but not just about the body. It was really me learning to shed off these old negative beliefs that I had about myself, and things that were kind of just holding me back from being the best confident person that I can. Like, honestly, I could not even go into rooms and talk to people because I was so self-aware of how I looked and how I was presenting myself. But now I'm to the point to where I don't feel like that when I walk into rooms. I try to walk into rooms and be confident because I'm not hiding. You know what I mean? And I want you guys to really know that if you are on this journey, it's not about perfection. It's not about getting there fast and first. Like, really take your time and make it something sustainable. Really love on yourself throughout this process. Really learn to think about things that you need to let go in this process, because a lot of times weight is about the habits that you picked up throughout life and throughout your time. So it's like, really figure out, what lifestyle changes you need to be making, what new habits you need to be incorporating, because those are going to be the biggest things you're going to need to do. Because at the end of the day, you can work out all you want, but you cannot outrun a bad diet and bad habits. Because honestly, like I said, I've been on this weight loss journey my whole life, and I've always worked out pretty much. Like I said, me and my friend used to be running up and down the stairs as kids. But I've always been like a workout kind of person, literally at the gym at 4 a.m. But if you're not eating right, it's not going to balance itself out. It's not going to matter. So it is really all about, your mindset and your habits moving forward. So if you guys want to share anything about your experience, Please let me know down in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye. Kissing in Paris, I guess we could do it in French. Wow. Eating low main is child for now. Child. She got me wildin' now. Rory Italian, child for now. Child. Yeah, she making that shake. Breaking that bait till her back break.